Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and we are into part 5 of the Movie Crusaders ride through the Star Wars galaxy. Yes, it is time for the most prestigious, most loved, most critically acclaimed Star Wars film in the franchise, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, whether or not our gentlemen here or myself agree with that remains to be seen. But alongside next to me, of course, my Jedi from another mother, my Padawan, my Jedi Knight, all that shit, my Yoda, Jay Burns. Jay Burns, how the hell are you doing, buddy?
Oh man, I'm here. I'm ready to talk about this movie.
And Kevin, you're back. We brought Kevin back in, and he's dressed for the occasion. He's got the hat. He's got the poster behind him. I mean, he had that in New Hope, but still,
it's called continuity.
Exactly, Kevin. Welcome back to another episode. How you feeling, buddy? You ready to talk about Empire?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Sean, for having me back. And, of course, I'm ready to talk Empire. And just excited to be back. And thanks again.
I just realized your shirt. I love that shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks.
And yes, when it actually becomes available, probably in 3 years, I will have Baby Yoda right here. Right in this section, he will replace Yoda.
No, the Funko Pop's already coming out.
It's not out till May, and it's already sold out because they did the whole. We didn't want to make the stuff early because we didn't want people to get leaked. Well, no, you had a chance of making like the new Tickle Me Elmo for Christmas, and you're missing out on so much money. Now we gotta wait.
Yeah, that marketing strategy is bad, bro.
Yeah, now you gotta wait till May to get anything Baby Yoda. When you could have released that shit around Christmas and had people fighting for it. But no. Okay, Disney. But anyway, we're here to talk about Empire Strikes Back, not The Mandalorian, which I think I've had and Jay, you're going to like this. I've had so many requests for us to talk about Mandalorian.
Ooh, all right.
And I told him, I was like, we're already like almost 5 episodes into the series. I was like, we're not going to go back and do previous episodes because no one's going to watch those. So what Jay, you and I, and whoever, maybe Kevin, maybe who else, when the season ends, season review of Mandalorian. We are definitely going to 100% do that. So anyone who's been wondering if we're going to do Mandalorian, we will. We're just going to wait for the season to end first.
You got to get Douglas Castle on that
but we have had plenty of people go, why aren't you doing Mandalorian? We don't want to talk about old Star Wars. We want to talk about what's current. And it was like, because we got to get through this shit so we get to Rise of Skywalker. But yeah.
Everybody wants to talk old Star Wars.
Exactly. Especially this one.
Except for people who aren't on this panel, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Empire. Love you guys. Yeah,
exactly. Empire Strikes Back. Like I said, it's the most critically acclaimed. It's considered the best of the Star Wars films.
By a lot of people.
By about probably 90% of the population that likes Star Wars films. Kevin, general thoughts of Empire Strikes Back.
Just general thoughts are I think the effects, the addition of Lando, the addition of of Cloud City, and then bringing back the characters that we saw in Episode 4, and fleshing them out more, are all some positives that I liked in Episode 5, and not to mention probably the greatest plot twist of all time, which we will obviously get to. So,
yeah, absolutely. Jay, you always got a lot to say.
You know what?
General thoughts, because we're gonna get into a lot of it. General thoughts on Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back gave us a lot of stuff that we've seen moving forward in movies. Kevin touched on it. The plot twist that's coming in, the plucky sidekicks who become mainstay characters really kind of started here. It started with Star Wars and it was kind of solidified with Empire Strikes Back. The writing of George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan. I'm gonna say it was Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas, plus the direction of Irving Kershner in this movie really just it sets a tone for like a darker version of Star Wars that hadn't been seen yet, and a lot of people have tried to mimic, I think, going forward. Even Lucas himself tried to mimic some of the darker tones that this movie did. I love this movie, and I cannot wait to actually get into the meat and potatoes, as I like to say, and talk about it.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Empire Strikes Back. Everyone, New Hope started it, but Empire Strikes Back cemented what made Star Wars Star Wars. And like to some people, it's their favorite Star Wars film. Not mine, not my favorite. It's definitely in my top 3. But there are others that I enjoy watching more. Like, I think all of us in agreement can say that Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars films ever made, but it's also the one I find the hardest to go back and rewatch for some reason. Like, I see Rogue One and I'm like, it's so good, but I don't want to watch it, kind of thing. And Empire, of the original trilogy, it's the best film, but it's also the one I have the hardest time going back and rewatching. I don't know if it's like just because it's a slow burn in a sense, but so is New Hope. It's just there are certain things just like I've had a hard time going back and rewatching Empire. As phenomenal as a film as it is, I have a hard time going back and rewatching it. So while yes, it's a fantastic film, so many great things happen, like the epic twist and certain things. I do think it kind of gets a little bit of an overrated status from it compared to other films. But let's go ahead and jump right in. First things first. I love how this movie starts with John Williams' score, which we discussed in the last episode, how amazing the score was. So like happy and hopeful, the music. Like when the Lucasfilms like da, 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 it's like, oh, yay, we're back. And it's like, oh, you have no idea how dark this movie's going to get. And then it even starts with the call going, it is a dark time for the rebellion, yet it's playing such happy, hopeful music. But yeah, we open up on a new planet that we've never seen before. It's one of my favorite planets in the franchise. I wish they would have spent more time on it. Because frankly, this is one of my favorite. This is probably like my favorite part of the film is this section of the movie, and that is Planet Hoth. We get a nice snowy planet. We get introduced to the probe, Imperial probe droid, which I always thought those were a cool design with the whole like dangling legs and stuff. And then we get to see post-surgery Luke Skywalker on a it's a Tauntaun, right? It's a Tauntaun.
Yeah. Tauntaun.
Yeah, I always get the Tauntaun and the Wampa mixed up in names.
Yeah.
Like I always think one is the other one. But yes, we get the introduction to the Tauntaun and with Luke. He's riding through the snow. Then eventually he gets attacked by the Wampa, which we get. This is like Brian said in the previous episode. This is one of the scenes that I felt helped with the special editions by adding an extra Wampa scene to it. Because we got to see actually more of the Wampa. We get the first sense of Luke being able to force grab as he's talking to Ghost Obi-Wan. And then I'll stop right there. Jay, initial thoughts to how the movie opened up with Hoth, Imperial droids, Wampa, Tauntauns, attack. What were your thoughts on that before we got the reintroduction to Han Solo?
So this is one of those things that you touched on, you brought it up. The upbeat, like happy score of John Williams over the very kind of dour opening crawl really kind of does throw an audience for a loop, I think. I remember sitting down and watching this movie and I'm like, I love this music, but those words do not make this sound happy at all.
It's like someone saying, I want to break up with you. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. why are you happy about this?
My heart's
the Imperial probe droid crashing into the surface of Hoth is actually really cool. I found myself, I was rewatching it yesterday and I found myself, I wonder if they actually did that. Did they fire something into the ground? Is that a special effect? But
someone just took a spitball.
yeah, from Skylab, because this is the 1980s, and that's how that works. No, I love this movie. It's also the frozen wasteland of Hoth is something that we hadn't seen yet. Like we've seen a lot of desert, and we've seen a lot of and we'd seen some green, but we'd not seen like frozen wasteland yet. And I was like, okay, cool. Now we're gonna hit all of the big ones. I can't wait for us to get to the city. And then I was disappointed when we got to the city.
Well, we hadn't gotten green yet. We get green later because in New Hope there was no green.
Yes, there was.
To Tatooine. And what else? Huh?
Yavin?
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, but that wasn't like, it was just like a little glimpse here. It wasn't
we still got green. We still got
I know.
Yeah. I know what green Sean's talking about.
I was like, no, we really didn't. But I agree. Yes, we did technically. Jay, do you agree with the added Wampa scene in the special edition? Do you think that helped it, made it better, worse, or you're thinking of the additional Wampa scene?
I like that scene. I still think that like the addition of like C-3PO ripping the caution sign off of one of the doors in the Hoth base would have been better, and getting to see those stormtroopers get attacked by the Wampas that they had quarantined in the Rebel base would have been a little bit better. I think it would have.
I agree.
Worked a little bit better because, like, in a video game, I can't remember which one it is right off the top of my head, but there's a door that you go through, and oh, hey, look, there's a whole bunch of Wampas in the Hoth base, and you're like, wait, what? And then you find out that there's a deleted scene in that movie where C-3PO rips a warning sign off of a door, and boom, more Wampas. I think that would have been the better place to put it, but I can't say that I hate this addition. That addition of that additional scene, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, thoughts?
Overall thoughts. I just like the appearance of, or I guess the contrast of the darkness of space and the solid white background of Hoth, and how that too. I mean, how it makes everything just pop. The colors and everything, something that I guess hadn't been really seen or done at that time. And it still looks amazing today. Those are just some real brief thoughts. As far as the Tauntauns and the Wampa, I mean, I like how they introduced the creatures and not overused them, because at this point we've already had so many introduced. I mean, I feel like if they continued to keep playing with this stuff, it's going to turn into like a long toy commercial, and people are going to not take it seriously. So I like how they kind of just used it and showed the Luke's powers and kind of did away with it and move forward.
I will say this. One of the things I think that maybe bugs me about this movie, and this is probably one of the reasons why I don't watch it nearly as much as I should, everyone's just in a bitchy fucking mood through this entire fucking film. It's just bitching and bickering and fighting with each other. There's never a genuinely happy moment in this movie. It's like from the get-go, Han and Leia are immediately at each other's throats, which is basically just their version of foreplay. They just don't know it yet. But like,
they totally know it. Let's be real. They totally know it.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything yet. So it's like they don't know that it's foreplay yet. But it basically is foreplay. But it's like Han is bitching at Chewie. He's bitching at 3PO. Like the only one that Han doesn't bitch at is Luke. Because their bromance is building. But it's just like this throughout the entire film. Like even Dagobah with Luke and Yoda, and even in Bespin and Cloud City, it's like everyone's just bitching at each other the entire damn time. But yeah, like that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not that fond of it, because there's just never any general like happy moment.
Also, so I think one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like going back and rewatching this movie when they're doing Star Wars, and it's something that kind of struck me as I was watching it yesterday. We look at it with more of a critical eye now. Yeah. Instead of just watching it for the enjoyment of the performances, we sit down and we are actually looking for mistakes, or we're looking for stuff that we've not seen before, instead of just sitting down to actually enjoy the movie. And to a lot of people, that kind of ruins a movie for them. And I don't think that this is a movie that they want ruined for them. So I think that's one of the reasons why, like, a lot of people, because this is literally still one of my favorite ones to sit down and watch, but I know that I watch it with more of a critical eye now, and I notice things, and I can point out things that really don't make sense to me, or really just aren't right in just like a technical aspect. And I don't think people want that to diminish their enjoyment of a film. So I think that there is a little bit of like a nostalgia warning here. Like, if you don't want this movie ruined for you, if you want to remember this from like your childhood, or from like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, don't go back and rewatch it. Because if you're in like what we do, and we sit here and we talk about movies, and we talk about what we like in the movie, the technical aspects of it, and we do the exact same thing for things we don't like about it, you're going to find some things in this movie that you don't like anymore. It sucks to say, but it happens. That shouldn't take away from your enjoyment of the movie. It's just people stop looking at it from a nostalgia standpoint and start looking at it with a more critical eye. And
I mean, that's the same way as, and like I said, we're going to be doing a show about this very soon, of movies that you loved as kids that when you're an adult, you watch them and they just don't follow up. Like, they're not as good anymore. And that's because we're seeing it as a different eye. I feel like with this one still, I mean, everyone for the most part still loves this movie profusely. But some people also have like rose-colored glasses, as they refuse to look and notice the things wrong with it. Because like I said, like the stuff we attacked on last episode, New Hope, people are like, what? No. And it's like, yeah, it is. Same thing with Empire. It's like, this whole movie is just everyone bitching at each other the entire time, and then things happen around them. They constantly keep making horrible decisions and bad mistakes, and they never kind of resolve their issues. It's just they just move on from it. So yeah, Jay, I agree with you. It's one of those things where it's like the fandom is so critical about the new things, but they refuse to be critical about the old. It's like the old stuff isn't like
the end all be all. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking,
it's like, there are
a masterpiece. Don't get me wrong, but come on, son. Like,
even you, and we'll get to this in the future episode. You despise Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I love Force Awakens.
I do too.
You love Empire Strikes Back. I think it's good, not great, because I'm watching them both as what they are, and not trying to throw the old school thought process into it. Whereas a lot of people are like, well, Force Awakens is just a New Hope. It's not, though. But if you go back and you look at any film that is, but let me finish. But if you go back and you look at any film that is coming back from a remake, like Terminator Dark Fate that just came out, it's basically Judgment Day redone. I don't knock it for that. It's them having to kind of go back and retread what they're doing, but it's showing, hey, we have the ability to make a good film. Just trust us in that we can do it. And I felt like that's what it was with Force Awakens. It's like, look, we're going to kind of take a formula that we know that works to show you we can make a good movie. You just have to let us have the opportunity by opening the door and letting the fans that love the old stuff back in, trust us. We can make a good movie. See what we did here? We did something that you loved, and then we added to it. We made it better in a sense, and try to enjoy this, and then let us do something different, which in that case we got Last Jedi, which, yeah, we know what happened with Last Jedi. But that's the same thing. It's just like you can you got to either be able to be open to change or stick to your old ways. Some of us are more open than others. like Jay, like I said, you hate Force Awakens. I love Force Awakens. Because I saw it as them basically going, hey, we're going to use a formula that we know that works. It's not a reboot. It's not us basically remaking the same film, because we're doing enough things that are different. I know we'll get to it, but to me, I feel like they did enough to be different while still showing that they can retrend while still being different. It's no different than people doing a remake to a song and people loving the remake over the old. They took the formula that works and they built on it to open the door to make things better. And even Last Jedi, you can say Last Jedi follows a lot of Empire Strikes Back in terms of formula. in a sense. But no one ever argued that point. They wanted to argue about all the new shit they did. Why? Because they did something new and people hated it. And even with Empire, they had what everyone loved about New Hope. They built on that, and they added new shit, and they made it darker, which people loved. Yet today's standards, they did that with Last Jedi, and like, how dare you? It's just like, yeah, it's just like Empire did the same thing, but you all love that, and you hate Jedi. Yes, Jedi made some mistakes. We can agree to that. Even though Last Jedi is something that Jay is prominently pro for, which Kirk is against, which we'll get to that match, but they at least went for it. I commend them for going for it and failing than them not going for it and going, wow, you had so much potential to do something with this and you didn't do it. I'd rather them go for it and fall on their face than not try at all. Especially with a franchise that got tired. That's the reason why the prequels
not wrong
didn't work.
Yeah, they could have given up.
Wrong.
And with Force Awakens, yes, they tried to do the same thing, but they did enough to be different to make people go, okay, I'm interested, instead of going, bleh. You know, because that's the one thing. People didn't go into Force Awakens and go, oh, it's shitty just like the prequels. No, they were like, it was either we loved it or it was too much like A New Hope.
There's a lot of nostalgia factor that comes into that, though.
Exactly. Like, I agree, but it was the right kind of nostalgia.
Like
it was the nostalgia that made you go and not go, oh fuck this movie.
So I'm not gonna lie, I finished Knapsack's book last night.
Yeah.
And
what's that book called? What's that book called?
Why We Love Star Wars.
Yeah, we love Star Wars.
Why We Love Star Wars.
Bye.
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Audible. You can get it, and it's read by Ken Knapsack.
I'm still debating whether I want to get the audio or the.
Do you have an Audible account?
No, I'm talking about just buying the audio version.
Well, no. So what I'm saying is I can send you a book for free, the first book for free, and I can send you that book.
Gift to me, Jay. Thank you very much.
Wait, so get off on a little bit of a tangent real fast.
We're already on a tangent.
Yeah, I know, and I'll bring it up. I will bring it up again in our Force Awakens chat.
Yeah.
But there's a big thing in that book or in that movie that none of us really caught up on right off the bat in the trailer. Why is Han Solo saying, Chewie, we're home? Like, he hasn't been on the Millennium Falcon in how long? Like, everybody glossed over that because we saw the interior of the Millennium Falcon and we saw Han Solo pop up and he was like, Chewie, we're home. But nobody, like, we just kind of passed over that. We didn't really even think about any of that. We were just like, oh, hey, yeah, by the way, oh, okay, cool, they're back. Rock on. But yeah,
I want to ask more about that, but I feel like I want to wait and save that for the Force Awakens chat.
That's completely fine.
I was like, I want to dive deeper into what do you mean by that, but I feel like we need to wait. so remember that for the Force Awakens video, and you and I will deep dive into that shit. But that's the other thing too, is that between New Hope and this, because it's what 3 years.
3 years.
How many 3 years between? There's so much story that's missing between, like, why is Han and Leia so bitchy at each other? Like, yes, we know it's the romantic relationship coming through the surface, but in terms of, it's not like today where it's like, oh, we got all these books and we got all this stuff that you can read and get into. Like, back then we didn't have that. So going from New Hope straight into Empire, it's just like, wow, Han and Leia are just like the first look that Leia gives Han
to each other.
The first look Leia gives Han is utter, just like furious disgust at him.
Yes.
She does that head turn and she's just like, it's just like, whoa, last time I saw you, you were all smiling and happy. We got medals. And she's just like, right on him. And he's right back at it. It's like, there's all this story that we had not seen.
True.
And it's just, and we jump right into that. But Han and Luke are like best buds. I mean, we get that moment with Han where he's like, well, I'm going back out to find Luke. And they're like, well, you'll die out there. Well, I'll see you in hell. I love that line. Because that's Harrison Ford in his most Harrison Ford right there. So, yeah.
So that raises a question to me for The Last Jedi. When Godspeed Rebels is said in The Last Jedi. Like a lot of people had an issue with that, but nobody had an issue with "I'll see you in hell." Like,
because of saying God in hell.
Yeah. Like you really kind of can't have one without the
Religions.
other. Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't they say "Oh my God"? Or I think a robot. Is it 3PO that says "Oh my God" during the prequels?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to go back. You're gonna force me to go back and rewatch it just to find the quote.
Prequels recently, but I think Obi-Wan says like, or no, it's a battle droid. It's a fucking battle droid. Oh my God! And it's like, wait, what? Battle droids have a god? Why would a battle droid say "Oh my God"? It might have been in the Clone Wars cartoon. I've been going back and rewatching the Clone Wars cartoon. But yeah, a battle droid says "Oh my God," and I'm like, wait, no, what? No, you can't. No, you're a droid. First off, but it's like,
you have no god.
Exactly. But it's like,
I am your creator.
Yeah, he said, "Oh my creator." That would have been fucking hilarious. First off, but it would have made more logical sense.
Oh, my creator. Oh, my servers are going insane.
But when you go,
I speak 6 million.
Oh my Anakin. but well, actually, he wouldn't remember that Anakin made him anyway because he had his mind wiped. But still, it's just one of those things.
Thank the maker.
Yes, and he does say "thank the maker" in throughout the film. He does. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like it's a loss in translation in and just no one, either A, they were too lazy to go back and look, or they're like, oh, no one's going to care. It's like, bitch, with this fandom, they're going to go over this thing with a fine-tooth comb. If Chewie's hair is out of place on it,
if it's not the right shade.
Exactly.
If the hexadecimal hashtag code for it isn't the same shade as it was in the original trilogy, fuck them.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
But anyway, we Han goes out to look for Luke. We get the first visual with Luke in the snow of Obi-Wan ghost. First time we got to see Obi-Wan's ghost. Like, obviously, at this point, we had heard Obi-Wan talk to Luke. This is the first visual we get of Obi-Wan as a ghost talking to Luke, basically telling him, you need to go to the Dagobah system. You need to find a Jedi by the name of Yoda.
The Dagobah system.
Yes, do the Dagobah system. And then, of course, Han fucking runs right through Obi-Wan's ghost, basically, and saves him. And then we get the one thing that's become a meme. It's become merchandise, which is cutting open a tauntaun and sticking Luke in. I've never bought the blanket, but I kind of want to buy that tauntaun like sleeping bag because it's so cool. But at the same time, it's like I'm visualizing that I'm inside an animal right now, and it's just weird. But yes, we get the quotable line of and I always thought that they smelled bad on the outside. This is a great line, but we also get to see for the first time ever, and I think now if you count Finn, the first person that's not a Jedi or Sith use a lightsaber.
That is correct.
Because Han uses the saber. Yeah. And I think outside of Finn, I think Finn and Han are the only two that have ever used the saber that wasn't a Jedi or Sith Lord. Am I right on that? I can see Jay's wheels turning right now as he's thinking.
I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, and even then,
Rey technically.
Rey is a Jedi. Let's be honest here. She gets trained by Luke. She's a fucking Jedi.
She gets 3 days of training.
So did Luke.
Luke got months of training.
He did not. He got maybe like a week of training. Let's be honest here. Let's be legitimately honest.
Let's be real here. He got months of training.
After Empire, yes. I'm talking about up to the point. Now, it's the same difference between Empire going to Jedi, how much training Luke's got, to Rey going from Last Jedi to Rise, how much training she's gotten since then.
With the exception of that's another issue that I'm going to bring up during that chat.
I love that we're talking about Empire. We just keep going to every other movie.
She's had to fight every fucking day of her life. She lives in a sand planet. She fights what's his bucket. She knows how to use her staff. Like, she has some weapons training, so her being able to use a lightsaber isn't out of the realm of possibility.
I agree.
I hate when people say, "Oh no, she's got no training," bro. Luke Skywalker literally went like this and looked down the barrel of a fucking lightsaber. Are you gonna tell me that the greatest Jedi of all time couldn't have a fuck up too?
And Luke, who, while yes, he's a good pilot on Tatooine, was able to jump in an X-wing first time and take out a Death Star.
T-16 Skyhoppers are just like X-wings, apparently.
Apparently, he can go into a trench, avoid TIE fighters and Vader.
And Vader.
Oh no, that's the Force. That's the Force.
My point exactly. But yet she grabs a lightsaber, and it's no.
How dare that girl touch a lightsaber?
Yeah. Well, Finn. I mean, albeit though the rumor is that he's Force sensitive, he gets a saber, and he gets what? 2 whacks at it like a normal person.
He's also fucking weapons trained, though. That's why he was able to block some of Kylo Ren's fucking.
No, what I'm saying is that even him, he gets maybe 2 blocks, and then he gets dominated because he doesn't have training in swords or even a staff. He's got a blaster that he shoots like at 20% accuracy.
Thank you, stormtroopers.
She's got that ability. And then you add the Force to it as well. I mean, she's got that ability. I don't understand why people just want to bash Rey because she's fucking female. Leia would have done the same shit. She would have. And she did in the books. We just didn't see any of that shit. And people don't read 90% of the Star Wars stuff out there. Leia's a badass that we just on film we never got to see.
So
outside of her words.
That's another thing. Yoda says it in this movie. He says it in the next movie also.
There is another.
No, your family is strong in the Force.
Yeah.
Is Kevin froze for you?
Yes, Kevin is frozen. I didn't even realize because I wasn't looking down at him, but he's like freeze frame, like he's about to headbang. Well, Kevin, if you can hear me, back out, go back in. Or he's just gonna. There he goes. But
he'll be back eventually.
Yes, probably within the next 15 seconds. But yeah, keep going with your thought, Jay.
Oh, and that'll stem into my Force Awakens and my Last Jedi commentary that I have to say on it. We sit here and we don't take everything from, everybody's like, oh, the original trilogy is basically holy script. It's writ at this point in time. So whatever happened there is the only thing that matters. And if you don't follow a storyline from that, then I don't want to talk to you. But nobody remembers. It's like everybody glosses over the fact that multiple times in the last 2 movies in the original trilogy, it's mentioned. People. No, you're good, buddy. People glossed over the fact that it's mentioned multiple times in the last 2 movies of the original trilogy that the entire Skywalker family is strong in the Force. In Return of the Jedi, before Yoda dies, he basically tells Luke to train Leia.
Exactly.
So yes, granted, she's a general and she's a fucking princess. She's got other shit to take care of. She can't cloister herself away. But her learning some Force powers is not out of the realm of possibility, especially seeing as it's been mentioned in dialogue in the fucking original trilogy. Exactly. People need to get over that shit. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement on that. Which, like I said, I know we're talking about a lot about the new trilogy. We should be talking about Empire, but that's what happens when you get us together and talk about Star Wars. Our brains just splatterboard to everything. But yeah, so next we get to easily, in my opinion, one of my favorite battles of the original trilogy, the Battle of fucking Hoth. I love this battle. I love the AT-ATs. I love that they have to wrap around them to take him down. But there's so much about this battle that I just love. You have the oncoming wave of destruction. You see the AT-ATs from far away, but you can't stop them. They're shooting at you from a long distance. I will admit, though, that one, and I don't know if Jay, you pulled up, but that one fighter that finds Luke and Han in the snow before the battle, a little bit like Jon Favreau in my eyes. He looks a little like Jon Favreau.
Okay. I guess
but yeah, so, and then we get, obviously, Luke in the tube. He's doing this. Basically is their way of getting him off screen without showing his face. Because obviously, like I said, Mark Hamill was in a bad car accident. That's why that's why they did the whole Wampa scene in the first place for the most part. But of course we got some more Han and Leia bitching through that as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Hoth, because I know, Kevin, you got somewhere to be here very soon, so we need to kind of get through this a little bit quicker. And we'll jump over the incest makeout scene as well. I think we're all good with that, right, Jay?
This is just more proof that
they had no idea what they were writing when they did it.
That George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan were writing this movie as they went.
That's yeah.
Like, legitimately, they were like, okay, well, what can we do? Okay, well, you need a good kiss. Okay, well, let me make out with my brother right fast, and then like,
and Luke doing the whole.
all right. It's like we stumbled into the world's worst Star Wars parody, and she basically just called him Step Bro, and this is just this is like page 4 of Pornhub.
Yeah, and then they were like, oh, wait, we'll have her do this. And then in Return of the Jedi, oh, shit, let's make them. Oh, wait, we did some things.
Oh shit.
You wonder why Han doesn't go, you made out with your brother. For Return of the Jedi, but they never do. And go ahead,
gotta hold on, you gotta clip this out first and foremost, but you gotta put that clip from Euro Trip. You made out with your sister.
I love that movie. And yes, that's great.
That's good.
And then I skipped over. We did get one of the best rants from Leia. We've responded with Han of, who you calling scruffy looking?
Oh yeah.
We do get that.
Scruffy looking
nerf
herder. Who you calling scruffy? Like, he knows he's a nerf herder.
Yes.
Hey, that's our word.
Yeah. We get Chewie laughing. Laugh it up.
Fuzzball.
But yeah. So yeah, let's jump into Battle of Hoth. Like I said, I love that. Like I said, the whole fight. Like I said, the Empire has them locked down.
Oh.
It is basically them trying to hold off enough time to get everyone out of there that they can. Like I said, it's hectic. I get that. And that's probably, that could be your argument for why is everyone so bitchy in the beginning of the film. Just because they know that this is coming and they just need to get themselves out of there as fast as possible. But we get to the initial battle. Like I said, you get the cockiness of the Empire. Like, they know they got them. And so we get the addition of the AT-ATs. The AT-ATs, to me, look freaking amazing. I love the AT-ATs. You get trench warfare on the ground, which I thought was great, which I loved playing this map when it came to Star Wars Battlefront 2. But, or even Battlefront for that matter. But like I said, I love the fight. I love the Luke having to wrap around. And then I like the little G.I. Joe of him having to, like, zip cord up the AT-AT. Like I love all this. This is, like I said, one of my favorites. We get the return of Wedge again, the unkillable rebel pilot who somehow makes it through the entire trilogies. But yeah, like Kevin, what were your thoughts on the Battle of Hoth?
If I just had one real thought about it, it would be that it reminded me of like an old maybe like a Roman battle or something, with like the AT-ATs being like elephants coming and charging in, you know what I'm saying?
Like Lord of the Rings battle of Return of the King?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then the way they, I agree with you, how they took them down, tying up their legs. That was just awesome. But, and then the escape, and then the hyperdrive malfunctioning, all that kind of stuff. I like how it wasn't just a clean getaway. Those are my two main takeaways from the Battle of Hoth.
Jay?
We're going to talk about Wedge Antilles a little bit more in the next movie.
Yeah.
But I love that, he's the guy who feels like he can take on the entire, him and Dak and Luke feel like they can take on the entire Imperial Senate, the Empire, single-handedly. I really like stop motion in these movies. Like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like there's a scene coming up in the next movie that just really doesn't sit right with me, and it's stop motion. But it works here. I think the backdrop really helps with that. But watching these snow speeders deploy tow cables and, you know, trip the feet of these AT-ATs is one of the greatest fucking things of all time, dude. I love that shit. I could go on.
And you get the introduction to the snow stormtroopers, like new outfits.
Yes.
Like when I had the toys, this was what I loved doing most. Was wrapping up my AT-ATs in the tow cables from my Rebel snow speeders and just tripping them. I loved this part so much. It's like I said, one of the best visual fights, I feel. And like I said, more practical. Like I said, you got the stop motion. It doesn't use a whole. This is probably the one that to me uses the most practical effects of any of the other fights in the franchise, without having to use the special effects. Like, yes, you're gonna get special effects, but like when you get the AT-ATs up close, those are AT-ATs. Like they're toys, but they're AT-ATs. You know, and you got the snow shots, you got the real Rebel snow speeders in the town, you got explosions and everything happening. It's not just spaceships flying around. I mean, you do get that with the Battle of Endor as well, because it's all Ewoks and stormtroopers. But I love the way the Battle of Hoth looks. Like I said, and this is once again a losing battle for them. This is basically them trying to buy time so everyone can get away. Even though what's that?
It's them fighting off their back foot.
Exactly. Just doing the best they can until they can find an opening to run. Not win, but run away. And even though I do admit that when Vader comes busting through the Hoth station and he sees the Falcon fly away, he's probably strong enough to have just gone, bitch, get back here. Because
that would have been awesome.
I'm sorry. I think Vader's strong enough to grab the Falcon and stop it. I really do. Because we've seen Vader in
books.
Exactly. In the books and stuff like that. Vader can do that. Because that would have been a kick. Can you imagine that moment if the Falcon's going to fly away and Vader goes, no. And then Luke gets, or not Luke, but Han or Chewie jumps down into the shooter and like blasts near him, and him stopping that is what lets him get away.
I think the thing that would make that scene work better is if he had come in and stopped them and they had to use the hyperdrive, but he's so strong that the hyperdrive malfunctions in their escape, which would be a better reason for their hyperdrive not working
than just the Falcon is just
Falcon. Chewie's fucking with it at the beginning of the movie, but you know, I think that would have been an easier way to explain, you know, the hyperdrive not working or it's malfunctioning because it had to, you know, basically overclock itself to get out of the force grip of the strongest, you know, sorcerer in the galaxy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's another moment where you could have made Vader more badass, and you just kind of made Vader like that guy who's always like a moment short. Because, if he would just grab that saber or grab that Falcon, holy crap. You think everyone else just went, like, all of it's so good. But yeah, so, you know, obviously they get away. We get the whole, we get Luke saying, you know, I'll meet up to you guys later. I'm going to the Dagobah system with R2, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, for everyone else, they're being chased the whole time. So while Luke's all, bye guys, the Falcon is being shot at by a Star Destroyer. They're running for their lives. And isn't this where they go into the asteroid field?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I thought was a great. Anytime you put asteroids in the middle of a Star Wars battle, it works. It works in Attack of the Clones. It works in this.
It doesn't work in Attack of the Clones. The seismic charges work in Attack of the Clones.
And you said that it worked. So don't attack.
Semantics.
You said it worked. Go back to the tape. Jay said yes, that worked.
Because of the seismic charges.
But
Jesus.
It's still probably the best surround sound.
That's it. I'm going back and watching no, I'm kidding.
That surround sound shot of the beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, we get more bitchiness of everyone on the Falcon. And then we get the introduction to Dagobah. Luke crash lands. You think R2 gets eaten, and then he gets spit out. Why? Because he's a Darth Sith Lord, and he don't go down like no bitch.
Darth 2D2.
Yes. And then, of course, like I said, it's a swampy planet. Also, and in my opinion, the first time we see green in Star Wars, but according to Jay, that'll count. But yeah, we get snakes, real snakes. All these amphibious characters. Yes, why did it have to? And we get the introduction to Yoda, which at that time, like you said, he's a puppet. But
I love that puppet.
This is a good puppet, not like Episode 1's puppet. But let's face it, this puppet can't fight like
this puppet makes a comeback in Episode 8, and I love it, bro. Kevin read my entire fucking thesis statement on this goddamn movie, and the one thing that he sends me halfway through reading it is, dude, the Yoda puppet in fucking all caps with like 18 exclamation points, because that's how I wrote it in my fucking. That's how I wrote it in my review.
But yeah, so I mean, we get Yoda puppet, which like I said, phenomenal Yoda.
Frank Oz will always be in my heart as Yoda. I don't care what anybody has to say.
We get it. We get a great introduction to him. He comes off as just like this weird alien who lives on Dagobah, kind of crazy.
Super weird.
My two favorite shots of Yoda is one where he crawls into Luke's bag and it's just Yoda butt, and he's just like,
oh yeah.
And then
you know what I was caught up with in that scene when I was rewatching it?
What, his feet?
How fucked up his feet are.
That's so fucked up.
They are like, how you're on a planet that is that moist. How are your feet that ashy?
Because he's 900 years old.
He's 900.
My favorite part of it is when he grabs the light and R2 is like, bitch, mine. And Yoda's like,
and beating him with his stick.
With it. Yeah.
It is mine, or train you, I will not.
Yes, the piece of shit out of R2 with the stick. I love that moment. Yoda is my dad's favorite character, so I've obviously throughout my life, my dad would always voice Yoda around me. So I've always had Yoda around. Right there.
Or do not. There is no try.
Like I said, I love Yoda, and then we find out that the entire time while Luke is being Kevin, what's he being?
A whiny little bitch.
A whiny little bitch. You would think 3 years he would have aged more, but no, Luke's still a whiny little bitch. Finally, we find out that Yoda's just like, I'm already over this kid. Like, no, I don't want to fucking teach him. I'm gonna kill this kid if I get around him. Yes, he's too old.
Impatient he is.
Whiny little bitch. but yeah, we get Obi-Wan and Yoda talking through all this stuff, and then finally he's like, fine, I'll train this little bitch because we need him.
More, why don't you?
What's that?
You said fucking cry about it some more, why don't you? Train him, I cannot. To Tashi Station he wants to go.
I don't remember what he wants. But, Mister.
Leia, you should have sent me.
Another there is.
You're but away from Dagobah, we get the first look at the Super Star Destroyer. First time we ever saw that guy. Massive. Looks great. Never ever really utilized in any of the films though, sadly. But the big reveal is we get to see Darth Vader for the first time without his mask on. I mean, it's a quick glimpse. It's anything drastic, but it's the first time we actually see that there's a human inside that, and he's not fully a robot. We get to see his scarred head, and all that. So I feel like that moment was like a big moment, just because we just got to see Vader under the mask for even a shot.
I think that's more to humanize him instead of it's just another face.
Because they need to build up to what's going to happen later with the twist. I agree.
Exactly. There are a lot of things building up to it where, like, if you're astute enough and you watched it, you probably could have been like, oh, I bet they're gonna do this, and then you could have Homer Simpsoned everybody. I literally just watched that episode of The Simpsons I watched like 4 days ago, and I was like, dude, if you had done that to me in line, I probably would have beaten the shit out of you.
Yeah.
100% would have caught an assault charge.
I will admit, I did that once. It was a joke. When I worked at the movie theaters, I was screening Attack of the Clones like right before we released it Thursday night, and we walked outside because I was off, and there was a huge line. I was like, "This is gonna be funny." I was like, "Man, I can't believe Count Dooku killed Mace Windu. That's so fucked up." The reaction that I got, I ran to my car. And then 3 hours later, I'm at the ticket booth tearing tickets, and these people remember my face. I go, "Lightsaber, please. You can't bring it inside with you." And they're just being like, "I fucking hate you." And then the movie ends, and I'm sitting there going, "Have a good time." I'm like, "You lied." "Yeah. Aren't you happy I did?"
Yeah.
Do you realize how retarded you were being right now? You're being a real big jerk. Because I said something and you believed it, and now you're mad that I wasn't right. But yeah, I admit I did do that once. Nowadays, I realize how much of an asshole move that was. But I was 16.
I was gonna say that's a funny thing to do as a teenager.
Exactly. I just wanted to see how crazy they were gonna get. But yeah, and so they're trying to escape the Star Destroyer, stuff like that, and they get to the asteroid field shot, and they decide to hide. It's inside an asteroid. Isn't that their thought process? They're hiding inside an asteroid.
Yeah. I think the beast that they end up hiding inside of is called an exogorth.
Yeah, this is the part of the movie I wasn't really a fan of. I wasn't really a fan of this. The whole like fake, like, whoa kind of thing. You get the what do you call the little things inside of it, the little like bats.
So I know them as Shirax.
Shirax. Yes.
I know them as Shirax. I don't know if that's what they're called here, but I've been playing a lot of like Knights of the Old Republic, and they are Shirax in the Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, we'll use that because I don't think they would make a Star Wars game and give fake names out. But yeah, so I mean, then we get a moment where it looks like Han and Leia are gonna make out, and then of course 3PO, being the yellow cockblocker that he is, interrupt them.
They're Minox.
They're
Minox in
Minox.
so forth.
Okay. So yes, video games are wrong. You heard it here first, people. But yeah, like I said, C-3PO basically cock blocks. Which, like I said, because 3PO sucks. Gonna keep fighting that statement forever. R2-D2 rocks, 3PO sucks. But yes, then, like I said, though they attack the ship, they shoot the ground, they start doing the fake whoa kind of thing, and then they realize, oh, we're not in an asteroid, we're inside the stomach. We're basically Pinocchio right now, and they shoot out of it, and you get the big worm that was like a penis going out trying to grab him. I only said that because Jay was drinking, and I want to see if he'd spit take. But yeah. What's up?
Go fuck yourself.
But also, this is the first time we get to see Palpatine in the original trilogy.
Yeah,
it's the first time we get to see Palpatine. Vader goes and talks to him. They're having their conversation, but this is the first legitimate time we see Emperor Palpatine.
Still voiced by Clive Revel, by the way.
Really, it wasn't
not Ian McDermott yet.
But yeah, and they're
Ian McDermott in the next one.
And that's
if you go back and you look at the credits, it still says Emperor Palpatine voiced by, and it says Clive Revel.
Really,
it's literally like one of the last like player credits. It's one of the last cast credits before they move into the rest of everybody. And I just want to point out, shout out to the credits section of the old school Star Wars movies. They wanted you to know everybody, because that fucking credit section rolls slower than the fucking opening crawl.
I mean, that's something
nowadays they're like, let's get through this as fast as possible.
George Lucas is very appreciative about everybody on the films, and he wants to make sure everyone gets a shout. There's one good thing about George Lucas, it's definitely that, is he is very appreciative of everyone who put anything they could into these films. But yeah, during the conversation with Palpatine, we once again get the mention of Anakin Skywalker, which, like I said, at this time, none of us knew who the fuck Anakin was outside of it being Luke's dad.
A very flammable individual.
Yes, but the very thing about this too, in terms of foreshadowing towards the major twist, Palpatine doesn't refer to Vader as Anakin. He refers to Anakin like he's a separate being because Vader's not Anakin anymore. So we get no reaction from Vader for that. But I mean, Vader obviously going, how is that possible? And then Palpatine's like, dude, just think about it.
No.
But yes. So we get that kind of reveal once again, leaving the breadcrumbs to what's going to happen here in the next hour, basically. And then it becomes the whole game plan for Vader now is we must turn Luke and not try to kill Luke because of how powerful he is. We need him on our side and not to kill him, because if we have him, then we'll win the whole war. So the kind of the mindset of the war, in a sense, changes for the Empire. Like you have them doing their little thing over here, but the primary goal now is Luke and only Luke, because with Luke you win the war. And then of course we get more Yoda kind of talks with him and Yoda and Luke.
Obi-Wan's Force Ghost.
Obi-Wan's Force Ghost, yes, where a ghost apparently needs to sit down on a log because he's tired from being a ghost.
So I will say this. I love this movie. This is still my number one on my Star Wars list. Which obviously we'll get to before we get to episode 9. But Obi-Wan Kenobi guilt trips the fuck out of Luke Skywalker on this log. Just like
that he does.
And the way that he is talking to him, it's like, okay, cool, you don't want to do this. Well, you need to do this. Well, I don't want to do this. Well, you kind of have to do this, because if you don't do this, I kind of made some promises here. I need you to like.
I have some bets. I have some bets in, and I need you to cover them.
Yeah.
I need you to at least cover the spread. But like it. Yeah. This is a cringeworthy scene of dialogue for me. Like the Obi-Wan I like the ghost effect that they have on him, but you can tell like he really didn't want to be there. He was just like, oh boy, okay, let's get this shitty dialogue out the way. Georgia, you need to work on this. But Lawrence, what happened?
Plus, this is also just out of character from the Obi-Wan character, even with the prequels. This is so out of character of what Obi-Wan is that it's
what I said was right from a certain point of view. Like, bro.
Do you think maybe they got Luke onto Dagobah and they didn't know how to get him off?
It's one of those things, like Joe touched on it earlier with the whole Leia thing, is I felt like this movie was being written as it was being made. I feel like they were like, we have to make a new one now, and we have to get it out. Maybe there's before something, I don't know, but it felt like they were, as fantastic as this film is for a lot of people, it seems like there was a lot of rescripting, or as we're writing it, okay, go out and do this, because like Jay said, as great as this movie is in terms of like Star Wars love, there's a lot wrong with the script. And in terms of the story, like I said, just like Last Jedi that everyone loves to hate, Empire's just as guilty, where it's just like, you guys didn't really think this out all the way, did you? Like, you had all this stuff thoroughly looked like it was planned, and now you're just changing the whole focal point of this movie, which like they did in Last Jedi. You had all this stuff lined up and built up in Force Awakens, and then in Last Jedi, you just kind of just threw them by the wayside and came up with a whole new set of dialogue. Empire does the same fucking thing, but no one wants to attack Empire for that. Like I say, it felt like they were just kind of coming up with it as they were going along. Like, that's probably why George has Lawrence and there's like one or two other people in it. kind of going, okay, you know what? This would probably work better if you did this. And George would be like, well, that's not how that would work. Or, oh, okay. Which Mark's not here, so I can't do the fucking voice. But it's just one of those things where, yeah, there's more times than not when, like I said, Jay's been pointed out each and every time where it's like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I love the movie, but it don't make sense.
Exactly. And, you know, I will be the exact same. I'll do the exact same thing in the Last Jedi video as well, because I love that movie. But that doesn't mean that I'm blind to or unawares of like the things that don't work in it. I just can look past that and still love it as a good Star Wars.
Which is why I said that Last Jedi has a lot in common with Empire that a lot of people just don't want to realize.
Oh yeah.
There's so much to it that's a lot alike, but everyone's like, how dare you say that about Empire Strikes Back? It's the greatest, and Last Jedi shit. No, they're actually very, very similar if you actually would just pull yourself out and watch it. But yeah, so we get the infamous cave scene. The you're not going to need your lightsaber in there. And Luke just going in with it.
I am not afraid. You will be.
You will
be.
You will be. One of my favorite shots of this is after Luke fights Vader and knocks his head off and ends up being Luke. I love that Yoda's just sitting out there twirling a stick like, bitch, I told you. It's kind of like, did you like that? Did you enjoy that?
Was that fun for you?
That was this version's Kermit the Frog or Baby Yoda of sipping tea, if I had ever seen it. Because he's just out there like, maybe you should listen, bitch. Because I said don't bring it.
Oh, but okay,
yeah,
so like,
now mind is fuck it is.
Force tree vision, Luke fighting Vader. Okay, and you know, a lot of people have argued a lot of things about this scene in of itself, psychologically wise, you know, from a psychological standpoint. This is Luke fighting his fear of becoming his father. That's why when he lops off his head, and then
he doesn't even know it's his fucking father at that point. No, he doesn't know it's his father at this point anyway.
No.
He's confused.
But when for some reason he lops off the head of this Darth Vader, like 40 seconds later, he's looking at it and then just the fucking face mask explodes and it's his face behind it. You're just like, what?
Which also why they don't just tell him right then and there.
Well, in episode 4, Baru's head, he has more of his father in him than I can't remember the exact quote, but he has so much of his father in him or whatnot. And if you put that together with this, and then like you said, you could almost see it coming, but I mean, nobody was doing that at the time.
Obi-Wan Vader fight in New Hope, like it's all there. It's all there to pay attention. Now that once you find out the twist, it's just like any movie with a huge twist. Once you find out what the twist is, and you go back and rewatch it, you'd be like, "Oh, they were telling me that there. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention." But in this case, when this moment happens, Obi-Wan and Yoda have ample opportunity to go, yeah, so Darth Vader's your dad. You should probably know this. All right, guys, so apologies. Kirk, or not Kirk, sorry. Well, same thing with Kirk. Kevin is having internet issues. As you saw earlier, he did drop out one moment, and he just dropped out again. He's having more problems. So looks like
winter in the South for you.
What's that?
So that's winter in the South for you.
Well, I'm in the South too. So
okay, so winter on the East Coast.
Exactly. So we're basically just going to tag team this without Kev. The show
double triangle this movie, buddy.
Yes, it's no longer a tripod. It's now just a Eiffel Tower. But
lean forward, give me a high five.
For people who understand that, giggity.
For people who understand that, shame on you.
For people who don't look it up. But yeah, we kind of lost
before you look that up.
Yeah, for people who I kind of lost my train of thought of where we were because we were trying to get them back on. I think we were still talking about them not telling Luke.
Yeah.
About Vader. Because like I said, this was the moment, like when Luke was like, "I gotta go save my friends." It's just like, tell him, because that information would be useful
Okay, so there's another big issue that I have, and it does stem and correlate directly to The Last Jedi. As soon as he found this little spot where the dark side energy was, what did he do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did he do? He went directly for it.
Just like Rey.
Just like Rey. But then he fucking condemns Rey, and everybody's like, oh, well, Rey went right for it. This motherfucker was ready to bring his lightsaber in and go straight on it. Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't think, did she? Did Rey bring her lightsaber?
She didn't need it. Like, the lightsaber wasn't activated. No, it was, it was Inception fucking Doctor Strange time where I'm just going to snap in front of a mirror. Like, we'll get more to that when we get to that.
It's one more time people keep putting fucking Luke on a pedestal and doesn't deserve to be on one. But yeah, so I mean, we get the whole cave thing. We get the first introduction to Boba Fett. Well, not if you count the special edition. Technically,
we don't count the special edition.
We get the introduction to is it Bosk?
So there's Bosk and there's Bosch on there as well. Bosk is the Trandoshan. Bosk is the Trandoshan, the lizard-looking motherfucker. You also do have Bosch there, or Boosh there as well. The one that Princess Leia ends up dressing up as. You have you have an IG-88 droid. There are a couple.
Well, I meant Bosk, the lizard one, because we got a Quentin Tarantino shot where we said, let's focus on Bosk's claw feet. because basically we get instructions to all the bounty hunters, and Vader basically saying, giving him his instructions. Yes. Because they want to find the Millennium Falcon.
This is the issue that I have with the special editions.
Yeah.
They had Tamora Morrison overdub Boba Fett. So he is now, like, I don't know, at least on Disney Plus, if you go and you watch it, every single line of dialogue that was spoken by the original Boba is now spoken by Tamora Morrison. So it adds a level of continuity, but also if you're a Star Wars purist, it kind of takes away from it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with the end of Return of the Jedi too, which we'll touch on that in Return of the Jedi, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Which part of me gets it. Like,
yeah, I understand why. I just
total sense. But
George Lucas needs to stop fucking with his own movies, though. Like, that's the thing. It's the curse of a perfectionist. I'm the exact same way when I write my music. Like, I'll release it and then I'll be like, oh no, I could have said this, or I could have said this, and then I'll go back and I'll rewrite a song, and I've rewritten the same song fucking 5 times because I'm like, oh no, this is so much better. And then I'm like, wow, all of my friends like the original more than they like the 5 different times I've changed it. George?
Or, oh no, I fucked up and I did too much and now I ruined it.
George.
Yeah, agreed. We get more, like, after the Falcon escapes the what the fuck was the creature's name again?
Exogorth.
We get more of the Star Destroyers, basically chasing the Falcon, then we get a very awesome tactical decision by Han by basically becoming a gnat on a Star Destroyer.
Hang on the side of the Star Destroyer. And I think, like, a lot of people don't realize, like, to me personally, I love that.
Oh, I love it.
It also, not only is it strategically smart, but it's also, like, visually smart, because now we know how big, most of us know how big the Millennium Falcon is. It's not super large, but it is it's a pretty decent sized ship, and the fact that it hides away in the crevice of this Super Star Destroyer, and it's literally like this much on something like this big. Okay, cool. It gives a little bit more scope. It shows a little bit more of the magnitude of the size of this ship. And Han's like, oh, we'll just wait until, Galactic Protocol is to dump all their trash, and we'll just detach and float away with their trash, and hopefully they won't fucking follow us. And then we have probably the best bounty hunter move of all time when that happens, and you've got Boba Fett following them, and I'm like, oh, okay, this was a really good setup for like a character that doesn't go anywhere.
Like I said, all credibility because he looks cool, not because his story. Cool.
Boba Fett was the the Jim Jam Boinks before Jim Jam Boinks was Jim Jam Boinks. Boba Fett was designed 100% to sell toys. Like, how can we make this more badass? We've got lightsabers. Now we've got somebody who deals with Jedi. Let's go ahead and not give him very many lines. Let's go ahead and make him mysterious, and people will want to buy his character or buy his toy and, spend more and more money on it. Yeah, George, you were smart there. Why couldn't you be as smart with your marketing as you were with your writing?
Well, we also put him on a dinosaur as well. Because wasn't the holiday special before Empire?
Don't bring that up, dude.
No, I'm just saying they built Boba Fett up because he was riding a fucking dinosaur when we first saw him. So
don't do that.
Hey, it's canon. It's canon.
Don't do that, bro.
It's canon.
I love you, brother, but like you keep bringing that up and see how long you have. Oh, I'm sorry. Suck dick. My internet is breaking up. I can't continue this conversation.
But yeah, so we also go back to Dagobah again.
Dick.
Cool. I know his pressure point now, guys.
Disrespectful.
We all want Jay to leave. We just bring up the holiday special. But yeah, we go back to Dagobah. First off, what thought process does Yoda go, I want you to do a handstand, and then I'm going to stand on your foot? It's like, did Yoda like climb Luke while he was upside down and get on his foot, or did he pick Yoda up and put him on his foot?
Oh, dude, come on! This is where they stole the whole like Mr. Miyagi training Daniel-san scene from in the Karate Kid that comes out in a couple of fucking years. Because like this is a montage of him. I'd like to point out the fact that they had him climb another vine upwards, just using his arms again, like he did on the AT-AT, just to like pick up another vine and swing. This is like the world's least effective fucking like trading montage. But yeah, no, it's weird.
It's just the utter visual of, first off, Yoda on Luke's foot, but also because I mean, yes, Yoda's small, but he's fucking way bigger than Luke's foot. The fact that like Yoda's standing perfectly still on Luke's
foot. It's the Force, bro. He's using the Force to balance himself.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Look, the Force balances everything, so why wouldn't it balance Yoda?
That's so ridiculous. And then of course, Jay and I's favorite quote throughout this entire series: "Big dick energy." Yoda with the X-wing. Luke's like, "I can't do it. It's too big." And Luke, and
that's
Yoda,
what she said. I can't do it. It's too big. Name a Yoda sex tape.
Yeah, and Yoda goes, "Let me show you this big dick energy.
Size matters not."
Yes.
And then like with ease lifts the fucking X-wing out of the water, and you're just like, okay, cool. War makes one great, does not.
There's also the one moment too where Yoda literally just like, "Bitch, have you not been paying attention?"
And he really hasn't, though.
I just told you, it doesn't matter. It's like, God damn it, this kid don't learn.
Do or do not, bro. There is no try.
Exactly.
Although that's another absolute, and only sis dealing absolutes. I'm just saying.
Well, things are different now in the future. But yeah, and so I mean, even then, like Luke gives up because like Luke even is moving it
a little bit.
Yeah, he lifts up about the first half of the wing, and then he's just like, "Nah, I can't do it." And then Luke, of course, and then Yoda's like, well, "I'm not only gonna lift it, I'm gonna fucking float it all the way over here." And
I'm gonna lift it, and then like not just me lifting it is dunking on you, but I'm gonna move it, and there ain't shit you can do but
put it down properly.
Stare at it in awe.
Like, watching you are. Making bitch you are. It's just like but yeah,
girl, I will.
Not with stick either. But
I'm done.
Yeah, it's once again just further proof that Luke is such a fucking bitch throughout this entire franchise. Because Yoda, who's the most chillest mofo in the entire galaxy, even Yoda's just like, I can't deal with this person anymore. Like, dude could deal with Jar Jar.
This Dagobonian weed.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
fire it is.
he could deal with Jar Jar probably more than he could deal with Luke in this, which I know that's probably a big.
I mean, he
hot
kind of
take.
had to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like you're kind of the last one. It was like, why couldn't Leia have found me? I could have gotten more out of Leia than this. But it's just, yeah, he does his big dick energy. He moves the fucking ship on his own, basically going, yeah, you a punk. While Vader's, force choking everyone to death because, they're all just worthless. But then we get the introduction to one of your favorite planets, but not necessarily the favorite parts of the film. Bespin, aka Cloud City, and we get to the introduction to the biggest pimp in the galaxy, Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian. What was your thoughts of Lando?
Lando is suave. He is like if Han Solo is the gruff, like, get the fuck out of my face type of person, Lando is the exact opposite. Lando is there. Han, old buddy, how are you doing? How are you, Chewbacca? I'm Billy D. Williams. Like, basically, it's just Billy D's personality shining through, and I love to see that. I love Lando Calrissian, and he pulls. We'll get to it here in a minute, but he literally has the biggest of big dick energy moments at the end of this movie.
You know who Lando reminds me of or they both remind me of each other, he's like Troy McClure from the
Yes.
Hello, I'm Lando Calrissian. You might remember me from Badasses Who Wear Capes, Bitches in Cloud City, and Everyone is Invited to My Bed. Have you seen this mustache? It's an amazing mustache. He's like the
Straight
old
Space Colt 45
guy. Isaiah Mustafa meets Troy McClure, and we get Lando Calrissian.
Facts.
That's what we get.
And all three of them looked badass, or would look badass in capes. And that is
not a bad thing. It's just
no.
Those are the things. No. Your girl. Now look at me. Now look at your girl looking at me. Welcome to my cape.
I just cracked a Space Colt 45.
Yes. And she's already in bed waiting for me, not you. You're outside in the cold, and I'm in there, chicka chicka bow wow. Boom goes the dynamite. Drop the It's just like
Stupid ass.
But yeah, Lando's a pimp. But and then of course we find out that the Falcon actually belongs to Lando, which we all
he lost it fair and square.
No, I'm just saying that it originally was Lando's, is what I'm saying. Which we find out in Solo how he lost that. And then that his long lost love.
He cheated to back.
His long lost love is in the Falcon. We're not gonna go there. I fucking hated that part of Solo. But yeah, like I said, and we even in that brief moment, that brief interaction, we see that friendship between Han and Lando, and even Lando and Chewie. Like we see there's some history here. And then of course Lando being suave is like, hey Leia. What's up? How you doing? Kind of thing. And then of course Han being like, yeah, no. Mine. Mine.
No.
And then of course even Lando's like, bitch, please, when it's like 3PO, it's like, hello. It's like, nah. even I don't want you. No one wants 3PO. But yes, we get introduced to Cloud City, which basically is an entire planet basically at sunset or sunrise, depending on how you want to look at it. And I think one of your favorite droids in Lobot.
Lobot's not he's
a human android. Like, how do you want to call him?
You got something to say?
No, I'm opening the dialogue for you because you
got something to say. I never said that's Brian who likes Lobot, bro.
Oh, it's Brian. My bad. I thought it was you because one of you was always bringing up Lobot. I was like,
he brought up Lobot like 5 times.
I thought it was you. I was like, I'm giving you your opening. Talk about Lobot more. But yeah, and then of course we while they're walking through Cloud City, 3PO gets blown to smithereens by someone we don't know, which to me was great. And then we find Chewie, finding him being tossed around like a football by a bunch of creatures. Also, great moment because I can't stand 3PO. And then of course we then move on to the moment where we kind of already talked about it. Luke leaving, because he must go save Han, Leia, and Chewie and all them. Obi-Wan shows up, both trying to stop him, which once again should have just fucking said that Vader is your father. I also love how clear Obi-Wan is at that point. Like, he's ghostly and everything else. In this one, it's like, no, it's basically Alex Guinness with an orb around him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the clearest Obi-Wan gets in the entire franchise was at this moment. Like, maybe you need to use more force at that point. But yeah, I love the saltiness of Yoda at the moment when Luke's like, I promise I will come back and finish my training as soon as I'm done. And Yoda's like, bitch, please. Just kind of like he does a Yoda eye roll and head turn. It's just like, I fucking hate this kid kind of thing. But yeah, we go back to he leaves. We obviously get the big coup. Vader makes a lovely dinner, which no one wants to eat. Like I said, Lando basically kind of turns in Han, Leia, Chewie. Vader, also big dick energy. I'm going to block your shots and then take your gun kind of thing. Boba Fett shows up like he did all the work, which he didn't do shit because it's Boba Fett. Yeah, so they all get caught. They torture Han without ever asking him anything. Yeah, I mean, thoughts on the dinner that never happened?
He made dinner for everybody, and fucking Han Solo just gotta come through and just start pew pew pewing. Like, no, I didn't mind this scene. I thought it was dope. It's the first time you see anybody actually do something with a blaster that didn't involve a lightsaber or actually being shot. He just holds his hand up, and then like when he force pulls the fucking what is it? The I can't remember the make and model of it right now. But he pulls it from him. His hand is still smoking, and then you get Boba Fett coming out of nowhere with the space shotgun. Like, what up, though? And you're like, oh, Lando can't be trusted. No shit, Lando can't be trusted. Han said it at the beginning. Lando can't be trusted. Like,
and yet we're all supposed to be shocked by it.
Exactly.
It's like, no, they laid it out for you in dialogue that he can't be trusted. And Leia's even like, okay, well, I'm gonna trust you. I don't trust him. But yet Han's like, oh, good old buddy. And it's like, you just said don't trust him, and you're trusting him. Ah! Yes. Which then leads to the carbonite scene, which also makes me wonder. This is one of the things too, is like where they try to humanize Vader, because when Chewie goes off and starts killing stormtroopers, Boba Fett's ready to kill Chewie, and Vader's like, no, don't. Why? Why does Vader stop Chewie from getting killed? What's the point?
Armor.
Exactly. Like, Vader's like, no, keep him alive. Why would you want to keep him alive? Technically, Chewie, he dies. Or 3PO probably dies with him because 3PO's on his back like a backpack. It would have fallen.
I think like it could be seen as that's more sinister than just killing Chewbacca, watching his best friend possibly die by going into carbon freezing. Like maybe that's what they thought about that scene. I'm not like really in the speculative portion of that, but like
I get it. It's plot armor. They don't want Chewie to die, but it's like in terms of like script.
Yeah.
Like Vader has no reason to keep Chewie alive. At that point, if anything, it's more torturous for Han watching his best friend die, then getting frozen, than Chewie watching his friend die. Because it's like it's Chewie, who the fuck cares in terms of Vader's thought process. And then of course we get Han with the boss move of Leia going, "I love you." I know. So duh. like
the look of indignation on Carrie Fisher's face was just priceless. Like, bitch. Did you
It's like, you couldn't send it back to me. God, you're an asshole.
But you know what? It gave geeks a boss move.
It
for the
did.
longest time.
It's
People,
it's the second
people
one.
still use this.
It's second one followed by hello there.
Hello there.
I know.
Of course I know.
I
It's me.
also love the kryptonite freeze because it's
Carbonite?
carbonite. I said kryptonite. Yeah,
You said
carbonite. Because that's the one moment, like when he freezes, you can tell that Han's going, shit, that's cold.
Motherfucker.
Because he goes down like this with his hands down, and he's frozen like this because he's going, shit. I love that. That's the first one where you can tell that Han or Harrison Ford fully was not prepared because that's probably fire extinguisher stuff shooting. He's like going, shit, that's freezing. But yeah, like I said, cool visual of Han frozen and how they just slam him down on the thing. Like I said, the visual of a carbonite frozen Han was cool. I mean, that became merchandise all on its own.
Yeah.
Like I said, cool visual, and that's one of the things that made Boba Fett badass. Yeah. Because that became a Mandalorian thing. Because even in Mandalorian, he does the same thing. That's how they transfer prisoners. They freeze them.
Well, no, so it's mentioned in dialogue in this movie that it's an experimental thing. Like they don't know if it'll work. Like there's basically a 50% chance that this will work or he'll die. And
even the Mandalorian it's not like he took it from Cloud City.
No, but they've perfected it in the 9 years following, or the 8 years following this movie up to the Mandalorian. Like it's become a perfected science. But in Empire, it was like literally, it's one of the things that Boba Fett talks about. I need him alive. And Darth Vader even says, if he dies, the Empire will compensate you, basically. So like it's there that it's kind of an experimental procedure to get him to that portion, to get him to Jabba's palace in the next movie. But like I like the fact that like they've added that, it's experimental. We don't know if this will work because at this point in time, in real life, Han didn't want to come back. Harrison Ford didn't want to come back as Han Solo. So it was an easy way to be like, oh, well, if he comes back for Return of the Jedi or whatever it was, Revenge of the Jedi at that point in time, if he comes back, we can unfreeze him, or if he doesn't, cool, he died in the carbonite freeze. Like, there, ways around it.
We had the ability to kind of go with what we wanted to go. And I mean, even then, Luke has a chance to save him. The only thing I can think of is that he didn't realize that was Han. Because there's no way for him to have known that was Han. Now, I bet when he found out Han was in carbonite, he was like, shit. I could have saved Han. Damn it. That sucks. But I also love that one more, too, where it's like, they're resetting the carbonite thing up for Luke. But like the moment that Luke falls in there, he's not like this. So it's like, how would the carbonite have worked if Luke's like would have just been a giant block of carbonite? like how does that work? Because like every time we see someone in carbonite, they're like this, but like when Luke fell in there, Luke's like out like this. So I would have loved to have seen how that would have worked out for him. But yeah, we start to get the big final setup for the third act. Lando once again switches sides. I mean, he was on his side the whole time. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to save Leia and Chewie and 3PO. I'm going to go against the Empire, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, Luke basically, once she says it's a trap, decides, I'm going to go where the trap is and go to Vader. Instead of not, basically she tells him it's a trap and he still follows the trap. And then we get the first Luke and Vader standoff. We get some force push or force pulling, actually, not force pushing. We like to bash the lightsaber battles in the original trilogy, mainly because we got to see what it could be in the prequels. I still think this is a great battle.
I don't think it's a bad battle at all.
They do a lot. First off,
it's a lot better. It's a lot better than the only lightsaber battle or lightsaber duel we got in the first movie.
Well, yeah, and then to me, it's better than Jedi as well.
I like Jedis more. but that's just a personal
For me,
opinion.
in Jedi, it just felt like two fencing guys just putting on a performance for the Emperor. This, you get, forced stuff being thrown at Luke. Luke clearly out of his element, trying his best. He gets, not sucked out of a window. It was just a lot more going on in this fight. There's a lot more outside, them fighting in the carbonite chamber and stuff like that. I just felt like there was a lot more in this battle. And because at that point, Luke's still trying to kill Vader, whereas like in Jedi, he's kind of holding back because he knows it's his father at that point. That's why I like this fight better in a sense, because I just feel like there was more given to this instead of them just kind of holding back. Because even then, I feel like Vader's holding back in Jedi also. Whereas this one, I mean, he's holding back in terms of he doesn't want to kill Luke, because he's trying to get Luke to a position, but he's not. It's in a better position than where he was in Jedi, where he's constantly being, Luke going, "Dad, no, Dad, join me,
Father."
Yes, please, kind of thing.
Father.
But yeah, in the course of their fight, Luke, Leia, 3PO, Lando, they all get away. That part's not necessarily really important because it's just them shooting and running to their ship. Because honestly, the main focal point is Luke, Vader, because it's a cat and mouse game during this fight. There's a lot of Luke or Han or Vader hiding in the shadows, popping out at Luke, and then disappearing in the dark again. And then kind of it's making Luke have to actually work because, like I said, Luke's out of his element. He's not where he needs to be right now to take on someone like Vader.
Not at all.
And Vader could have killed him at many, many opportunities, but obviously he's not going to because of who the fuck he is. But ultimately we get to the point where Luke loses his hand. We get the big twist, which now is not a twist anymore because everyone fucking knows it. But at the time, epicness in terms of a twist. But it's like even Vader at this point, for someone who's not trying to kill Luke, he's swinging for the fucking fences on Luke. But yeah, like that moment, like for you, Jay, the first time watching it, what was that moment when Luke lost his hand?
This was the moment, like literally when I first watched this movie, I was like, he's the good guy. Good guys don't lose.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? And then, you get the Obi-Wan never told you about your father. He told me that you killed him. No, I am your father. Okay, mind blown as a fucking 5-year-old child.
Yeah.
100% blown. Was not expecting that at all. This entire like final fight scene, I like it. It's not like super hectic. It's not super frantic.
That's methodical.
Yeah, and the fact that Luke loses an arm here and then later on in the movie and even the next movie, it becomes a point where cool, he loses an arm, he cuts off one of Darth Vader's hands later on, and he sees the mechanical portion of it, and he looks at his own hand in the next movie, and he's like, I am literally becoming that thing that I feared in the darkness, in the dark side cave in Dagobah. I am becoming my father. I am becoming, Anakin Skywalker. I'm becoming Darth Vader, and it's one thing that he was afraid of, and you never really get to like see that. But I think that it goes to show, or at least it'll be a talking point of people who'd already seen this one, who were watching Return of the Jedi, and they see that and they're like, oh, like father, like son. Or, when they watch the prequels before they watch these ones, and they're like, oh, well, Anakin Skywalker done got his hand cut off by Count Dooku. Look, I almost said Obi-Wan Skywalker. Luke Skywalker gets his hands cut off, gets a hand cut off by Darth Vader. So it's just like this same story. It's cyclical, and it continues to happen to this entire family. Nobody can escape a movie without, an arm being dismembered.
Unless your name's Leia. She's the only Skywalker that can get away unscathed. But yeah, like I even love the thought process of the move as when Luke finds out, he's just like, well, then I'll I'll rather die
Yeah.
than join you. By literally, like, you're seeing the thought process going through Luke of looking down, looking up at Vader and go, there's no way I can get out of this. There's no way I can win this battle right now. So it's either I go with him and I effectively die there or join, or I go out on my own terms and hope that I survive.
That's another thing, like, nobody wants to talk about, but I will definitely at least bring up Luke's repeated no's. No, like, the most overacting by anybody in any one of the trilogies by far, even with Palpatine's unlimited power.
I will rival the no with where could he be in A New Hope, or the Father, please, in Return of the Jedi.
Fair enough.
Every movie he's got. Well, I don't know about Last Jedi, but in all three of these movies, he's got one horribly overacted screeching moment in each one of these, and that was the moment there. And then, like I said, he jumps. He accepts his fate.
Just let's go.
Like, well, I'm not gonna let you have me, so I'll either survive this or I'll die. Which I love how he just like is falling straight down and somehow gets sucked into a hole in the wall all the way over here.
And then is hanging, and that's when he's like, Leia,
help me, please. Yeah, and then obviously Leia's probably just like, bitch, how are you in my head right now? It's like, what the fuck's going on? Kind of thing. But yeah, once again, Luke being a little bitch. Does Luke ever? Let's go this way. Hot take. Luke never survives on his own in anything. Luke was gonna die in A New Hope.
Yep.
Han saves him. He was gonna die in Empire. Leia saves him. He's gonna die in Jedi. Vader saves him. Luke is not this holy, powerful hero. He's not. My God, people.
Hot take.
Stop calling Luke Skywalker the way he is. You put it is but it's a true take.
You're not wrong.
It's fucking true. It's like people bashing Last Jedi. Luke would never run away. Luke would never do. Did you not watch the original trilogies? Luke doesn't survive shit. Luke always loses. He does. The only thing he ever won in was against Jabba's palace. It's the only thing he won. He's never won anything else. Even in the Hoth battle, he got shot down. He was just lucky enough to get out of the snowspeeder in time.
Force.
Yeah, exactly. Force plot armor. Luke is not this fantastic character. He's not. He's like the fucking Frodo of Star Wars. Frodo's not the hero. Samwise is the hero.
Yep.
I love Frodo Baggins, but Frodo's just a whiny bitch along for the ride. Sam's the one carrying him. Sam's the one that's doing all the hard work. All Frodo's doing is walking. Luke is the Frodo Baggins of Star Wars. He's getting all the fucking credit while everyone else around him does all the fucking work. Hot fucking take. I don't care. It's the truth. Show me where Luke is actually doing the hard work in the movies, not books, in the movies, where Luke is doing the hard work, where he doesn't have to get his ass saved by somebody.
I mean, he doesn't even do that in Empire.
What?
He gets his ass saved.
Yeah, he does. Multiple times.
Like even in Jabba's palace, he gets his ass saved. Fucking.
We're not talking about in terms of winning. I'm talking about like the Rancor.
Oh, okay. I was like, Jabba's barge. You have R2D2. Yeah.
He gets saved in the beginning of Empire by Han. He was gonna die out there in the snow. Like I said, the only fight he ever really won was the Rancor, and I guess when he's fighting in Jabba's, actually no, Leia's the one that took that shit down, because Leia shot the big blaster cannon into the ship. Mm-hmm. Luke didn't win that. Luke just kind of distracted everybody while Leia kills Jabba, while Leia takes down the ship. Han kills Boba Fett blindly, but he still does. All Luke did was kill the Rancor. But yeah, who got the credit? Luke did.
Skywalker. He's a Jedi, of course.
Who really won the battle at the end of Return of the Jedi? Lando and what's his face?
No.
Yeah, and Han and Leia on Endor. What did Luke do? Luke did nothing.
Luke got shocked like a little bitch.
Luke got shocked like a little bitch. He fought Vader, effectively was lost that fight. Vader kills the Emperor, but Luke gets all the fucking credit. Luke doesn't do shit. Luke is the popular kid that gets all the credit while all the people around him does all the work. Hot fucking take, I don't care. Luke is not a hero. Luke is the rich kid who gets all the fucking like prestige and credit for everything while everyone else does all the work around him. True fucking story. And I will fight. I will fight on that. Because it's true. And Jay, you're further proving my point that it's true.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I was disagreeing with you.
Which is why, no, I know you're not disagreeing with me. Which is why I can't stand how everyone just talks about Luke Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker is like one of the worst characters in Star Wars because he doesn't do shit except being a little bitch. But yeah, so ultimately Luke gets saved. The Millennium Falcon escapes, and we're kind of setting up everything as we go through. I mean, it's kind of a dour ending through the rest of the way. 3PO's getting rebuilt. They replace Luke's hand with a robotic one, and they basically say that they're going to basically find a way to save Han.
Yep.
And boom, we're at the end of the movie. That's the end of the movie. And Lando's now with them.
Lando is also wearing Han Solo's clothes.
I thought he was still wearing his stuff.
No.
At the end of the movie.
Go back and rewatch it. When he pops into the driver's seat of the Millennium Falcon, he is in a white shirt and black vest. He literally just fucking stole Han Solo's outfit. And that's big dick energy to me, dog. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. That's big dick energy right there, dog.
And then of course we get Luke and Vader talking. Father, like bitch, he just cut your hand off. Son. He just cut your hand off.
We will rule
like,
the galaxy.
I love how he's like Luke's just so like, Father, no. It's like, dude, no. If my dad just cut my hand off, fuck you. I'm not talking to you right
fucking
now.
A, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
You go like,
Father, help me. No.
Like, it's just like, why do people, like I said, I love Empire Strikes Back, but this is not the best movie.
It's still my number one. It's still my number one. Like
my number one is the one that you hate. Not Attack of the Clones.
I know which one you meant.
Yeah.
I don't hate that movie. I point out shit that's wrong with it.
Yeah. But it's I mean
everybody jumps on me for liking something that like this is my issue with people like jumping my shit for actually liking The Force Awakens. It's not methodical. You know, it's not the same fucking Star Wars story over and over again. It gave us something new in a galaxy that we're used to.
Jedi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I said the wrong.
You said Force Awakens. I was like,
yeah,
what?
But you know, that's my big issue with it is like, with new Star Wars fans and old Star Wars fans alike, they want something. They saw this and they had expectations and thoughts behind what they should get, and it wasn't what they thought they were gonna get. So they're throwing a fucking temper tantrum, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. You had this thought process that this was going to happen, and you built up that this was going to happen, and then it didn't happen, and you're fucking crying about it.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, look, let's put it this way. I'm hoping that Rise is great. But I'm sorry.
Rise will be all right. Like, it'll at least be good.
It's not going to be Endgame. We all love Endgame. Endgame was everything we wanted and more. Rise is not going to be that. I hope it's half as good as Endgame is. If it's half as good as Endgame is, I'm satisfied.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Oh, yeah. Okay. I just thought, yes, Lando is 100% wearing Han's clothes.
Yeah. 100%.
Totally wearing Han's clothes. I get it. I see it now. 100% big dick energy from Lando. Yes, I agree. But yeah, effectively, that is the end of The Empire Strikes Back. Starts off with whimsical, celebratory music, and then it's just dour the whole fucking rest of the way through, all the way to the end.
I mean, it does end with Luke and Leia's theme when Luke like kind of puts his arm around Leia and shit, and you're just like, boy, stop right fucking now. Just knock that shit off.
I love that. I love that. Like as soon as he does it, 3PO's like, R2. Do you want to do the same thing? R2's like, bitch, get off me.
Did you know I'm fluent in more than 6 million forms of communication,
including love? But yeah, and then of course we get Lando and Chewie flying off in the Falcon. What the fuck are they looking at? Is that a sun or is it like a black hole? Like what are they looking at like out in the distance?
Could not tell you to save my life.
Yeah, it looks like a giant sun with a lot of cloud around it.
Could not tell you to save my life.
That's effectively the end of Empire Strikes Back. One of the most beloved films, which it sounded like we fucking hated it, but we were talking about the movie. But we do really like it.
I like this movie a lot.
Yes, but there's a lot wrong with it that people have rose-colored glasses of fandom around it. And it's not a perfect film by any fucking means.
People who watch The Sandlot, you know, at a young age. Exactly. But if you went back and you watched that movie tonight and we talked about it tomorrow, I guarantee you'd be like, well, damn, this was wrong. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I still love the movie. It still holds a place in my heart.
You know what movie does that for me? I love this movie when I was younger. And I finally got it on like DVD. And I was like, I can't wait to watch this. And then I watched it and I was like, and that was Monster Squad.
Oh, no.
I love Monster Squad.
I'm sorry.
Nards.
Wolfman got nards.
I love Monster Squad, but going back and rewatch it, it's like, oh wow.
You're like, oh, this movie does not work.
No,
this movie does not work.
I still love it. It's just not a movie I'm going to go back and rewatch over and over and over again. Star Wars is obviously different, but just the level of hate you get for remote this movie. Yikes, which I'm sure we're going to get plenty of hate for this. But you and I, Jay, we don't care about hate.
Hate gets us views.
Yes, we hate
through you.
Yes, let the hate flow.
Like, oh no, you don't like my opinion. Welcome to the fucking internet, bud.
Exactly.
Like,
but see, we're attacking the film, but we still say we love it.
Yeah. I'm pointing out things that I liked about the movie. I'm pointing out things I didn't like about the movie. Guess what? I can do that and still enjoy a movie.
I mean, yes, we focus on more of what we didn't like because what's more to say about this movie that hasn't been said about what we love about it?
I mean, look at what we did with the first one, though. Look what we did with the first one. The first one's 2.5 hours long, you know, or episode 4 is 2.5 hours long, and it's a majority of us just being like, oh, I loved this, I loved this, I loved this, I loved this.
We mostly talk about how much we love Star Wars in that movie and not what we loved about New Hope in that.
Exactly.
But because New Hope is just kind of setting up the chess pieces.
Yeah.
And Empire Strikes Back is going, you see these chess pieces? I flipped the board. And the Return of the Jedi is, this is for kids. Let's bring in kid characters. Yay. That's effectively what the trilogy is.
Let's bring in kid characters that are effectively the most fucking dangerous things in the goddamn universe.
Yes. But we all love it in the same. Whereas the prequels, it's like I said, I love Attack of the Clones. You fucking hate that film. You are okay with Phantom Menace. I hate that film. And we all like Revenge of the Sith. But we still bash the hell out of Revenge of the Sith. And we're probably going to have that same thing when we talk about the new trilogy. But ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this video is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so that way you guys stay always up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. But yes, Jay, God help me. Where can the people find you?
There's not enough people here to make enough jokes. So you can find me on onlyfans.com/jburns, where no, I'm not posting pornographic pics. I am actually just talking to people. It's weird. Don't go to onlyfans.com unless you're over the age of 18. You can find me on Twitter at jburns253. You can find me on Instagram at @bargang_burns. You can find me on Snapchat at the same name. You can find me on Letterboxd at jbr253, where obviously all of my reviews are thesis papers because none of them are shorter than like 1 or 2 pages, and I just like rant about the movies I like or what I didn't like.
People say the same thing about my movie reviews. They're too long. I'm sorry that I like to give thorough reviews. If you want to watch a 3-minute video with a shitload of cuts, go watch Jeremy Johns.
Yikes.
Nothing against him. He's great. He's great. But I prefer thorough reviews, not 3 minutes of I liked it done. But yes, same thing with Jay's reviews. Jay's thorough. Jay likes to talk about the movies that he loves, and he doesn't want to give you a paragraph or quick review of something. Jay's first because he knows what I'm referring to. But yes, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, you can follow me on Sean Watts Creek on Facebook, and of course, like I said, the social media outlets you see below. Like I said, next up is Return of the Jedi. I hope you guys join us. I hope you guys like this video. And until next time, Movie Crusaders, in case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and may the Force be with you.